Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, look here, look, listen. What we got in this week's chapter was huge. And I know we've all been hearing that every single chapter that comes out for the final saga, which is fair, but this is the first time we're seeing on-page feats of Captain Koby, the hero of Rocky Port. And it makes sense that for a lot of people, this specific feat came out of left field, especially after 1087. So today we're going to be talking mostly about him in chapter 1088. So if you have not read it, this will be spoilers. But firstly, just want to be thankful for Oda and recovering from his surgery and getting the rest that he needed for this last month, really. But now that you have read it, let's dive in. Now, allow me to go to bat for Koby for a moment. In defense of what happened last chapter with Shiryu, I think it's important to remember where Koby started compared to just about every single other character in the series. When we first met Koby, he was a literal child on Alvida's ship as a chore boy, swabbing the decks. Luffy at the beginning of the series was already several dozens, probably around 100 times stronger than Koby was. Let's be real. And with the training he received throughout the pre-time skip with Garp on a constant basis helped his growth exponentially. But as we saw after Eni's Lobby when they got reunited with Luffy briefly, and at Marineford, we see he's still several times weaker than Luffy. I mean, at Marineford, Luffy literally swatted him out of the way like an annoying fly. Fast forward 2 years later, and we get reintroduced to Koby, who not only looks much better as a just character model, but now he's a Marines captain, a member of SWORD, and the hero of Rocky Port, which we got a little more details in recently. He's a much more capable man. This is true. However, it's still hard to visualize where he's at, simply due to just a lack of on-page feats. And to think that in just 2 quick years, Koby goes from Alvida crew chore boy to fighting on the same battlefield as Yonko commanders is an insane expectation. On one hand, he did receive constant training from Garp, which can be comparable to Luffy receiving his training from Rayleigh, going a step further by seemingly learning how to use Conqueror's coding to his attacks. Of course, this is up for debate as to whether or not this is just armament hockey, like how Zoro used armament hockey to cut Pika back in Dressrosa, or Rio used by Luffy before learning advanced Conqueror's coding, or just actual advanced Conqueror's coding. Whereas Rayleigh just sort of let Luffy figure that out on his own, and Luffy discovered that in Wano and trained on it before going to Onigashima. Who knows if Oda had advanced Conqueror's coding in mind while starting the post-time skip, but we're here now. It is what it is. Now, we all expect Koby to become part of the next generation of admirals by the end of the series. He's pretty much set up to be the Garp to Luffy's Roger. And so far, he's been set up to be pretty capable, much like Garp, without a devil fruit. Understanding that, it should be reasonable to believe that at some point he's going to be able to use advanced Conqueror's coding, just like Luffy. I'm still surprised, given how he was acting in the last chapter, fumbling around and getting Garp stabbed, and just his general disposition where he's kind of always shocked and worried or, freaking out on page. He doesn't exactly carry himself like a conqueror in many of those situations, but I guess that should still be expected at this point. Kitty! But if Koby is set up to be an admiral without a devil fruit, he needs to have increased levels of haki in order to make up for that. We're starting to see that with this last chapter, which is why it's becoming, to me, the more I think about it, less of a surprise. Less of a surprise that he's able to do it, and more so just able to do it now. I mean, this was unexpected. That's insane. And not only is that name wild, I mean, Honesty Impact. Honestly. But hey, that's him, not me. We get a little setup for it in Garp's flashback of Koby throughout the chapter, when Garp asks the new Marines, who should they save between a baby and an old man, and Koby chooses to sacrifice himself. And again, when we learn just how much more Koby was training himself in order to make up for his lack of starting strength. As if Koby was playing Dark Souls on the deprived class, then had to go do some extra level grinding in order to catch up to everybody else. Helmeppo even dropped that he'd been training 100 to 200 times more than other people to catch up and surpass his limits. as well as training in secret every night with the battleship bags method that we saw Garp and Kuzan use in the previous chapter. Cutting back to the present, in this beautiful double spread, we see Koby destroy the entire team with black lightning coming from his attack, causing Pizarro to scream in pain as his real arm breaks. And I'm sure that came as a huge surprise to most everybody. It came as a surprise to me. Koby unlocking or using an attack like this is definitely not on my bingo card. I had my hopes setting up Bogard to come to the rescue and not Koby. Now, with everything with Garp and Koby aside, I still have one burning question that I need to know. Well, two, I suppose. The first is, where are Perona and Moria? The last time we saw them was in a quick little flashback when Perona broke Koby out and Koby agreed to go free Moria from his cell in exchange for Perona releasing them. We've seen no side of them since, and I'm seeing one of two options. The first option is that they stowed away on the marine ship that Koby and the others are using to escape. But what are they really going to do on Koby's ship? As a former warlord and just a pirate in general, it's going to take a lot of convincing of the others in order for them to allow them safe travel on their ship. And that's even if Koby goes to bat for them. However, as a man of principle, he does owe Perona for breaking him and the other Marines out. However, if Perona and Moria are still on the island, can we expect a Garp rescue? What if they both realize that the only way to get off the island is with Garp's help? And since they both want the Marines off their backs, they might jump in for a quick escape. I don't remember who said it first, if it was Parvision or Sive or somebody else, but it could lead to the Shadow Garp theory that I came across. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but I'll be honest, I'm all there for that. As a D&D player, anything should be possible. Or as the physicist Willie Cairn states, everything that humans can imagine is a possibility in reality. Just saying, I believe in dreams. But out of everything in this scenario, I was hoping to see Bogard a little bit more. Was he actually planning on doing something? Like, isn't this Garp's right-hand man? Where was he? Why was he not on the island? Koby may have gotten Garp stabbed, but he at least made up for it with his honesty impact. Now, if there are any readers still holding out for Bogard, he's got one last chance, and that's to be back on the island in order to get Garp away from the rest of the Blackbeard crew. But honestly, he's already 1 foot past the point of no return for just being a bum in my eyes. Hopefully Oda turns that around. But, we'll see. I'm going to keep a very interested eye on Koby's career from here on out. If he is using Advanced Conqueror's Hockey, if he is using Advanced Conqueror's Hockey, I don't believe it's too far-fetched to think that he is going to unlock Future Sight at some point in order to make him a closer rival to Luffy come end of series. Maybe that is a little too far-fetched, a little too silly to imagine. If Garp hasn't displayed it by now, Koby probably won't either. But then again, we never saw Future Sight from Roger. It's a possibility. My only reasoning is the expectation of Koby being the Marine rival to Luffy at the end of the series, just as Garp and Roger were. He would need it to keep up. I'll let you guys voice your opinions on that, though, in the comment section. Let me know what you think if Koby's going to unlock Future Sight next, or if we're going to see a little bit more of Conqueror's Hockey from Koby. But at the end of the day, Bogard's got one last chance, and that's for him to be on the island going to get Garp. Maybe he teams up with Perona and Moria to get them out of there since they owe it to Koby and Garp for breaking them out in the first place. There's a break next week, so expect some, more fun, offbeat content coming during the break. We don't have a chapter to look forward to next week, so I'll have a couple other things in mind. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the topic or want to hear more on Koby, or just the situation in Hachinoso in general. You can follow me at Wrath of Reptar on Twitch, TikTok, here on YouTube, Twitter. I've also got a gaming and variety channel coming out pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll make an announcement when that gets released and I have content to put out on there. I'm Wrath of Reptar, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.